What?
Tottenham Hotspur?
Top Spur?
No.
What's that?
You never heard of them?
No?
Tottenham?
What?
Tottenham Hotspur?
Top Spur?
No.
What's that?
You never heard of them?
No?
Tottenham?
What?
Tottenham Hotspur?
Top Spur?
No.
What's that?
You never heard of them?
No?
What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another live stream. Hey, listen, it's a bit shameless, I can't lie, you know. With 10 minutes to go, we would have been... I might have called this Arsenal therapy if that game never went right. I can't lie, it could have been a madness today. But big up to everyone locked in. Hope you are well on this... Thursday? Jeez, man, I can't keep up with the week, man. Where we at? It's Thursday, people. Big up on this Thursday. Hope you are all well. And we got a few interesting things to talk about today, man. The beauty of Arsenal, they'll always feed you with something to go and create content about. I actually thought, slow news day, not a lot of transfer news. What we going to discuss? Tony Adams says, don't worry, mate. I'll give you something to talk about. So we will talk about Arsenal legend. Before we discuss what he said, Arsenal legend Tony Adams. Are you in the category that he's got every right to say what he thinks about the manager and the captain? But there are some people saying he's jealous. He wasn't good enough as a coach. He's hating on Arteta. We're going to put a poll out there, by the way. What do you think, or who do you think should be the Arsenal captain? Because ultimately that was the main thing that he was discussing. Should Martin Odegaard continue to be the Arsenal captain? I've said it multiple times on this channel. I don't think he should be. I don't think he should be the Arsenal captain. I think Declan Rice should be the Arsenal captain. Gabriel maybe. So I'm going to ask, who should be Arsenal captain? Simple question. What do you guys think? Some people think, listen, it will tear apart Martin Odegaard. But Odegaard hasn't played well for the last year anyway, so it might actually help him. So we'll leave those three. I don't think anybody else. So we'll go Odegaard, Rice, Gabriel, who should be Arsenal captain. Let's get a poll there. Let's see what you guys think regarding that. And we're going to obviously break down the comments of Tony Adams. And the Eze deal seems to be fizzling away very quickly, people. He could end up playing for Tottenham. To be honest, last night I got back late, so I couldn't do the watch along for the Tottenham game. And listen, man, we got away with it. PSG won in the end at 2-0. I'm thinking, boy, how are we gonna spin this one if they win the Super Cup? I think people have to understand PSG only returned to training last week. You're 1 week into pre-season. It's very difficult. Doesn't matter how good a team you are. Tottenham are 5 weeks in. They're about to start the Premier League. And PSG were a week in. They completely lacked sharpness in that game. If I'm being totally honest and non-biased, I think Tottenham look quite good. I think Jed Spence is a very good fullback. And I'll be honest, Mohamed Kudus, he caused a lot of problems to Nuno Mendes, who is probably the best left back in the world, to be honest. Kudus, a player that I would have taken over Madueke. Also, Paulinho on loan I would have taken ahead of Norgard. But listen, I'm glad they lost. It was actually the perfect way for them to lose. If PSG would have just battered them, wouldn't have been as good. Them going 2-0 up thinking they'd won the game. Some of them were tweeting expressions who shamelessly was celebrating with PSG fans when they played Arsenal. Well, you weren't celebrating last night in a PSG shirt. I can't lie. So, yeah, man, very, very Spursy indeed, which is the way we like it, you know. It's the way we like it. Big up to everybody locked in, of course. Appreciate all your support over the past few days. Been a brilliant few days hitting the 100K. We're going to do a giveaway at half-time in the Arsenal-Man United game at the weekend. Maybe we'll do a few giveaways. And we will be doing a watch along tomorrow night for Liverpool against Bournemouth. So make sure you're locked in for that. A few super chats there waiting. Fitzjoseph, big up yourself, bro. Absolutely fuming about Eze. Arteta should never have been allowed to get Noni Madueke before securing Eze. The fact he may go to the Spuds is utterly annoying, and keep your powder dry. We are going to talk about that story a little bit later on in the show. But listen, my opinion of Eze is I would have signed, if we'd signed Eze, I would still say we need a left winger. Arsenal, I think, are only going to sign one more player. They have to go and sign a top left winger. If they don't, then the window's fizzled out and we're short, and it means we're carrying somebody, which will be Martinelli or Trossard. So yeah, and they've said Arteta has wanted Eze, so why did they not buy him? Fitz as well said Arteta has to change next season, play more 22-23, expansive football, let the likes of Saka, Martinelli, Odegaard. Who's EN? Ethan Waneri. Sorry, my mind went blank. No more robotic system-based football. Play to Gyökeres strengths. This has to start from game one. No hiding places. They're at Old Trafford. He said, and if Berta doesn't get Eze in the left winger we 100% need, I'm done with this fraud. All the players we need should have been here now and ready. Fitz not happy with Berta. Not many people calling out Berta, but he's very much having a go at Berta. Joe, Bob, big up to you, bro. We have to remember that a lot of things said in the football space are opinions, regardless of who they come from. I agree with a lot of what Tony Adams has said, by the way, not just because he is a winner. I always think, man, what really baffles me is that the whole, pretty much most of football is built on opinions. When a club buys a player for 100 million, they are of the opinion that that player can bring that quality to their club. We've seen players cost a lot of money and fail at clubs before because opinion can be wrong. Everybody's entitled to opinion. What I don't like is when people start policing opinions and say, you don't have a right to that opinion. I've seen people saying Tony Adams doesn't have a right to that opinion because he didn't do well as a coach. Well, in that case, I don't have a right to an opinion because I'm talking about players that played at a higher level than me. And you could turn around and say people in the community, people on Twitter who didn't play professional, they don't have a right to an opinion because you never kicked a professional ball. That's just not how the game works. Ultimately, everybody has got a right to a footballing opinion. It doesn't mean it's correct, but you have a right to your own opinion. And that, for me, is the issue. People saying Tony Adams doesn't have a right to an opinion. He does. He definitely does. Whether we agree with it, whether it's right, that's a different thing. We're going to discuss it. We're going to listen to the interview. Joba said if we take down everything winners say as gospel, we wouldn't clown people like Rio, Gary Neville, and Carragher and more. If Slot is a winner because he won in his first year at Liverpool, isn't Arteta a winner? He won an FA Cup. Exactly. We've heard players who've won Champions Leagues and Premier Leagues say outrageously poor opinions. Being a pro also doesn't make you an expert. I know a lot of footballers who've played at the highest level who find it very difficult to explain and break down the game. They're just very good on the football pitch. So again, you're right there, Joe. But Gunarican TV, Kurt, what's your opinion about foreign fans' views? I've said this multiple times on this channel, and I'll reiterate this. Once again, being an Arsenal fan, being a Man United, Liverpool, Chelsea, whoever you support, being born in the area of the stadium doesn't make you a better or more knowledgeable fan than any other football fan in the world. I've had this thrown at me, by the way, and I live in the country, but I still have it thrown at me. You're not from London. What's your accent? You didn't grow up near Highbury. You should be a Forest fan. I've had that. I say, okay, you think Arsenal Football Club can survive on the North London area? Do you think that is how they would survive and be one of the biggest clubs in the world? No, you need a worldwide fan base to be a top football club. So when people start throwing that at people in debates and arguments, you live abroad, blah, 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 I think you've already lost the argument when you say something like that. It's a weak argument. Once again, sorry, there are fans who grew up near the stadium who ain't got a clue what they're talking about. So it's as simple as that, man. You'll know. Listen, if you grew up around the stadium, you have a different experience that is probably a little bit more unique. I can't deny that. I can't deny that. You know, if you grew up next to Highbury, you might have had a different experience. You know, you might have been to more games, you might have seen players around the area. And that is a unique thing and connection that you're lucky to have. But being a football fan, living abroad, does not make you a worse fan than somebody that lives around the corner. You just have a different experience, but you still live and breathe it. And I've seen that firsthand from being on tour. I've seen it firsthand. The fans are crazy about the football club. So, yeah, but people try and throw that at you, don't they? People try and throw that at you. Indicalia Bomber. Let's hear what they are. Let's hear what he said, because this Indicalia all of a sudden is getting some clout now because Ornstein gave him a layup. So let's see what Indicalia, I'll be honest, has always been somebody I don't really take that source of info too seriously, but let's see what he had to say. People saying it's a bomber. He said, exclusive, Arsenal want Champions League winner to join the club. Arsenal has reached out to Palace regarding Eze to hold talks with Spurs. The way he's explaining this, I don't know where he's going. They made their request to Eze a few days ago, as exclusively reported by us. Now they're going straight to Palace. Crystal Palace is scratching their heads, wondering why Arsenal hasn't put in a bid. It's a bit of a mess. Honestly, they're confused about the whole situation. Arsenal have the budget for Eze and don't need to sell anyone to make this happen. What's the hold-up? We can confirm they are waiting on their first choice target to make a decision before submitting a bid for Eze. This is a dangerous game they're playing while they wait on Real Madrid. Rodrigo. Do we believe that? It kind of does make sense. I just don't know if I believe the source of information. So he's saying Arsenal are not signing Eze because they're keeping that money in case they can get Rodrigo from Real Madrid. I just don't know. It doesn't help the way he's written. It doesn't make it too believable. You know, it sounds very opinion-based and unconvincing. So I think saying Indicalia bomber, I think we need to... Honestly, I'd rather speak to the sauce that I've got in the fridge. You know, got some good barbecue sauce, some sweet chili sauce. I think I'd trust that more than this. No disrespect to Indicalia. It just sounds like he's farming some, you know, some clicks. So, yeah, I'm not buying into that. Listen, there could be some truth, but let's wait and see if we hear it from a better source of information. Big up to man like Mohammed, you legend. 50 memberships gifted to the community. Big up your damn self, Mohammed. Always supporting the channel. That's what you call a C-Unit bomber. 50 memberships. Big up to the 50 new members. Make sure it's turned on in your settings that you can be gifted a membership so that when these memberships are handed out, you have an opportunity of being given one of them. Big up Mohammed, been supporting the channel for a long time and always puts into the community. So big up and welcome to the 50 new members. Big up Mohammed. Don't forget, vote. We got a poll in the chat. Who should be the Arsenal captain next season? We're going to discuss the Tony Adams interview after this. In fact, we're going to listen to it. Joba said, Arteta has to win more, by the way. I don't defend him. I actually want him gone. We love to beat him over the head when other managers do similar. Arteta is a good manager, not a great manager, and we need more. Yeah, listen, if Tottenham would have won last night, Arteta would have been getting a lot of criticism today. Because people say, how the hell have Tottenham won a Europa League and a Super Cup? I was fearful for Arteta at 2-0. When Glasner wins the FA Cup and Community Shield, first thing people tweet Arteta, how can Glasner win an FA Cup at Palace with hardly any money to spend? Arteta's had 5-6 years, 900 million, one FA Cup. So they will always use him as the reference point. And that's the position he's in. That's the pressure. Arsenal are a big club. Temi said, Tony Adams is wrong. It will destabilise the team. to me, Temi, and we're going to talk about it in more detail when we discuss it. If Tony Adams can make a comment. Remember, I bet half these Arsenal players don't even really know much about Tony Adams. I'm sure they'll know he's a former Arsenal captain and there's a statue outside. But some of the younger players probably don't know that much about it. If Tony Adams can do an interview that destabilises Arsenal, then I'm more worried about Arsenal than Tony Adams, because his comment should not be able to destabilise this team. They should be strong enough to take that. It should even maybe motivate them to say, okay, we're going to prove a point. If I'm Martin Odegaard and I hear a former Arsenal captain legend say that, I'm going to say, okay, is that what you think? Let me prove you right. Or let me prove you wrong. You know, so I don't... If that comment can destabilise the team, we're a weak team, I'll be honest. Footballers have to be able to take criticism. They have to. Mohammed said, congrats on reaching 100k subs. Just like I promised, 50 memberships coming up. Welcome to the new members. Big up Mohammed, who was gifted the 50 memberships to the community. Stevie Wonder, Yova looked scared when you approached him in Asia. Yeah, man, he was a bit apprehensive, but you know how I go, people. You know how I go. I made him feel good by the time. I said, yo, man, well done on the set pieces, you know. Big him up. But we just can't rely on them. Also, sit down. Sick of seeing you on the TV screen, you know. Do your set pieces and sit down on the bench. Joba, people say things like Arteta is an average manager are disingenuous. Average managers don't win FA Cups, stay in title races. Again, okay manager, not great or elite. KSE out. Joba always reiterates KSE. Liao is the one we need. Pace, deadly on the wing. Martinelli has pace, doesn't know how to beat his opponent. Liao has both pace, can beat his man, get him AMSN. And apparently, Fabrizio said on his YouTube channel, we are not in for Liao. Wama, big up to you, bro. Just love that Fitz is back, pulling no punches. Question, where does Eze fit in versus the left winger? We need a left winger to raise the ceiling. Arteta would have stuck him on the left. I've said all along, Eze won't fix what we need. He won't. Listen, if you're willing to put him in to say go and challenge Odegaard, no problem. He wouldn't have done that. We all know he wouldn't have done that. He would have been playing left wing. Mish said City no, they don't need Rodrigo. They're not rushing to sell Savio to Spurs, but if Savio leaves, Rodrigo is walking through the doors. Big boy club. It's Pep. It's big money. It's 4 titles. MJ's trying to say, Big Caesar, Notts County fan. I seen him in a shirt. Jeez, Notts County, you know. I don't know hardly any Notts County fans in Nottingham, especially around my age or younger. A lot of the older community are Notts County. Obviously, there's a lot of football heritage in Nottingham. Notts County, the oldest professional football club in the world. Nottingham Forest, one of the only British clubs to win back-to-back European Cups with Brian Clough. Should have gone for Liao, looking dangerous versus Chelsea, says TK. We know, definitely should have. Let me get into... Although Wama said, I was born in Australia, I live in Dubai, supporting Arsenal since 97. I love Arsenal. Wow. Don't let your wife hear that. He said he loves Arsenal more than his wife. Jesus. Happy wife, happy life. Maybe don't tell her this publicly, but I understand. I understand. Well, I kind of do, but no, I don't. No, I don't. Definitely not. Cass said, Curtis, congrats, 100k. One day you should do a stream where we nominate our favourite clip of you. Mine would be, I want Arteta sacked tonight. I want him done. Big up. Yeah, we're going to do some streams looking back. I'm going to try and do a little celebration stream Saturday night and try and get some guests on. I will come back to these super chats. Just bear with me. Big up. Really appreciate all the support. I want to get into this Tony Adams interview. Because it's been put out as a TikTok clip, I think I can get away with it with no copyright issues. If I have to edit this, if you're watching this on playback and the interview's not there, just know that something's gone wrong and I've had to edit it out. But for you guys tuned in live, we're going to watch it, listen to it, respond to it, and we'll have a discussion about what he said. Is he hating? Is he just giving an opinion? If the former Arsenal captain, Premier League winner can't give an opinion, who can give an opinion is sort of my thought on it. You know, he is one of the people that has to be able to talk, and we at least listen to him and respect what he needs to say. You know, even Thierry Henry for some reason got criticism when he spoke about Arteta. But let's hear. It's 2 minutes long. We'll play it all. We'll play it all. Let's go.
You're not going to win the league with Odegaard as captain. I'm sorry.
Are you a fan of Arteta?
I think he.
Don't laugh at him,
He's
Tone.
got a really big call to make this year. And for me, he hasn't done it. And the call is to make Declan Rice the captain. I think Declan is my kind of captain. And what it might do, it might free Odegaard up to play with a bit more freedom. Terry Venables did it. He took David Platt and he put me as captain. And Glenn Hoddle took me out and put Alan Shearer, which was a silly decision. But every now and again, as a manager, you have to put someone that reflects you, that reflects the football club, that you think you can actually take it to the next level.
Does he reflect Arteta?
I think he's better than Arteta. I think he's a winner. I think he's an Arsenal leader in the dressing room, around the training camp. He's got standards, he's got principles. I think big managers go, right, actually, you're my man now.
Did you say, I think Rice is better than Arteta, he's a winner, as in Arteta's not a winner?
Well, I think, yeah. Well, no, I'm just saying he's got an opportunity this year to actually turn into a winner. 5 years now.
Nothing wrong with that.
5 years. He got great success at the start with a very defensive team. He got everyone behind the ball, basically, and we nicked the FA Cup. So going on and winning leagues, to win league titles, you have to be a Klopp, you have to be a Ferguson, you have to lead by example, you have to be a winner, you have to go about your business, and that reflects in your captain. And by making Odegaard a captain is a reflection of Arteta, and I can really see that. And I'm seeing Declan Rice as a captain, but I'm saying to Arteta, come on, step up now. It's your time to be a winning manager and a fantastic manager, because you're not going to win the league with Odegaard as captain. I'm sorry. It's going to be a rotation job, and you're going to get the same mentality of sometimes him and that one to come out and that one to go in and that one. You know, you've got someone in there that's going to play every game all season, that's going to encourage people to come in and do this and do that and lay the foundations of a title-winning team. Declan Rice can do that. Odegaard can't. Come on, Arteta, make him captain.
Yo, man, no, listen, man, nah. Let's talk. Some of you in the chat saying, listen, I'll go Gabriel instead of Rice. Cool, no problem. I don't see no hate in there. Listen, he mocked him a couple times, and there he's doing all that. But look what he's saying, your leader needs to be able to steer the ship. Odegaard is the most substituted captain in Arsenal history. So how can the guy leading the ship be the guy that's jumping off the boat and getting in the rescue boats? I need you to steer the ship to victory, bro. I'm sorry. I don't think he is hating. Yeah, he's putting a bit of pressure on Arteta. He's saying, come on, man. If you want to become a winner, you need to make big decisions. Glenn Hoddle took the armband off him and gave it to Shearer. Terry Venables took it off David Platt and gave it to him. Big decisions, man. Odegaard might even benefit from not having that pressure of the armband. Rice and Gabriel, to me, look like the leaders. I'm sorry, I don't disagree with what he's saying. Like, people might not agree with everything how he worded it. Some people, I've seen people saying today, the timing of the interview isn't good before the first game of the season, but he's got every right to have that opinion. Every football fan has got a right to have that opinion. But the guy that was captain and won titles and FA Cups has got every right to that opinion. The poll is there. I want to know what the community thinks. Who should be the Arsenal captain? Martin Odegaard, Declan Rice, Gabriel. I want to know what you guys think. At the moment, 59% of you are saying Declan Rice. We've got more votes than likes, by the way. So you're doing me dirty. We don't even have 1,000 likes, but we got nearly 2,000 votes. So the maths ain't mathing, but we'll get that later. I know this is very relevant at the moment. I'm not putting Saka. Saka shouldn't be Arsenal captain. No chance. Never in a million years. We've done that before at Arsenal. Oh, give it to the best player or the best attacking player. No, Saka shouldn't be the captain. Saka shouldn't be the captain. For me, Declan Rice. I love Gabriel, but I think Declan Rice, I don't know, his mentality is a bit... Being around them on tour, I just feel like Rice is more the captain than Gabriel. I think Gabriel's a fantastic leader, but I still just think Rice is a little bit more. You've got to remember, Rice has been a captain. Rice has won the Conference League at West Ham. Now, I know we'll look at the Conference League and go, but for West Ham, that was absolutely massive. And I think Rice will end up being England captain when Harry Kane retires from playing for England. I can see him being the England captain as well. So, listen, man, he's saying, come on, we've got to win. That's all these big guys want. These Adams, these Petit, these Omris, they want Arsenal to win, man. I don't see the problem in what he said there. I don't think he was being disrespectful or disingenuous. Forever a gunner. I'm not angry we didn't get Eze. We don't need another centre mid sit on the bench, rather sign a left winger. Also said, look at the recent Indicalia tweet. Yeah, we just checked that. Ronaldo Bailey, big up yourself, man. New member. Big up each and every time. Brian said, we were winning trophies. We would not have. Oh, were we winning trophies? We would not be having this conversation. Winning is the cure. Or listen, said it all the time, Brian. I say this all the time. Winning fixes everything in football. I don't like that manager. Oh, he won. Now I do like that manager. I don't rate that player. We won with that player. Oh, now I do like that player. Simple as that. I've been involved in football clubs. Football clubs can be a meltdown, arguments on the training ground. Fans not happy you haven't signed this player. You win, they're happy. You win the game after that, they get a bit happier. The more games you win, the happier they get. Winning fixes everything. If we'd won trophies over the last 5 or 6 years, Mikel Arteta would be viewed in a very different manner by everybody, not just the absolute ones who love Arteta through thick and thin. I'd be sitting here going, I think he can be one of the best managers. He's come to Arsenal. If Arsenal had won one of these last 3 titles, I genuinely would be sitting here saying Arteta's one of the best upcoming managers in world football. I would be. I'd say, bro, to come out of never managing, to go to a club like Arsenal, who haven't won a title in 20 years, to rebuild them, get them playing good football, and win a title in the Pep Guardiola generation, I would give that guy so much credit for that. So much credit. No doubt about it. And people will say it's easy for you to say that because he hasn't done it. I would genuinely give that guy so much credit. However, the flip side of it is, we're Arsenal Football Club. We're not Palace. We're not Brentford. We're not West Ham. We're not an experiment. We've experimented with Mikel Arteta. Can this guy go from being an assistant manager to a top quality manager? Has he improved? Yes. Will he probably get another good job if he leaves Arsenal? Possibly, depending on what he does this year. But can we afford to wait for this guy to become successful? And do we know if he will become successful? We're not sitting here going, give Havertz another year up front. We're not doing that. Do you know why we're not doing that? Because we don't believe he's good enough. We're not sitting there going, yeah, but what about that half a season he had, at the back end of 2 seasons ago? We're going, I just don't believe he's good enough. Go and get Gyökeres. Get somebody better. Now, what Arsenal have to be very careful is that they don't waste this generation of talent waiting for this manager to see if he comes good. And by the time you figure out whether he is or isn't good enough, Saliba's at Real Madrid. Saliba's at Madrid. Saka hasn't signed. We can't keep waiting. You can't keep waiting for that. If I said to you, you can get one of the biggest jobs in England, I'll give you over 900 million in 6 years. You would go, wow, he's a seriously lucky manager if he's only won 1 FA Cup. Do you know what I mean? Because most managers don't get that amount of time. I actually saw comments last year about Pep because of how bad a season they were having. His Pep finished after 4 titles in a row and a treble. So he's a very lucky man. Forever Gunner said, Thomas Frank is a great manager. Spurs were so structured before the 2 goals. Hate to say it, Spurs will cause problems. I don't think Spurs will be up there in terms of like the league or anything. However, how good did they look for the first 70 minutes yesterday? How good did they look? And they had players missing, by the way. Jed Spence was playing left wing. Do you know what I mean? Richarlison up front. And they were, listen, like I said, PSG are not fit. They've been back a week, but their structure looks so good. And when you drop, Solanke's back, and I think, who are they in for? They're in for Savinho, although it doesn't look like they're going to get him. City apparently asking for big money unless they can agree something. Structure, it doesn't take long. People have this thing, it takes years to fix a club. It doesn't. You can fix a club in one summer if you have a really good transfer window and your tactics are effective quickly, But we'll see. We will see. It all begins on Sunday anyway. It all begins on Sunday. You win at Old Trafford, we all calm down for a week anyway. Brian said we were winning trophies. Yeah, I did read that one. Brian. Apologies. Fitz said Rice has balls, while Odegaard is what's that? I've never seen that word. People enlighten me. I don't know what that is, but yeah, I'm sure it's not a good word anyway. Big up Fitz. Rob, my captain Tony Adams can say what he wants. If it hurts the feelings of some Arteta sexuals, they can jog on. Just face the truth, guys, and we can move forward, right? The manager's underachieved, and there should be question marks. Is Odegaard the right captain for the club? There's nothing wrong with that discussion. We've got two obvious leaders in the team. So the discussion, should the armband be moved, there's nothing wrong with having that discussion. We should be able to discuss things that can potentially improve us. We're fans of the club, so we want the best for the club. So if we think something can improve us, we should be open to that discussion. I hope somebody asks Arteta about it in the press conference, where they'll probably ban that question. Aluminium said, congrats on 100k, Big C. Never rated Odegaard or Arteta. Until a change is made, it will be the same old story. I think this season we'll all get clarity. That's what we've said. Fitz said that comment was in football terms, not literature. I know, Fitz. Come on. We know, bro. We can read the way you're putting it. Red Square, how will Odegaard benefit if you strip him, you sell him? How does that benefit Arsenal? You are back to square one. The timing is atrocious. Listen, the timing, I mean, it isn't going to happen anyway. It isn't going to happen anyway. So the timing would have been at the end of last season to give him the time to deal with it and understand it. Let me say this. Number one, you don't have to sell him. You can take the armband off him and keep him. You don't have to sell him. Number two, Martin Odegaard's just had the worst season of his Arsenal career. So you're working from a place of Odegaard's not playing well. If you take the armband off him and he continues to play badly, well, he was playing pretty badly anyway. What you're hoping is that the armband gives him a bit of, listen, Martin, I'm not doing this because I don't think you're a good leader. I'm doing it because I want a different kind of leader. And I want you to focus purely on playing rather than feeling responsible for other players on the football pitch. He was never a captain before at Real Madrid or at Sociedad. Maybe it's a role that doesn't suit him. So I would try and still make it seem like it was a positive to him, even though it probably isn't. Dylan says, big up from Atlanta. I think Rice being captain is dependent on where Arteta has him on the pitch. Gabriel is a short anchor game in, game out. Yeah, I hear you on that. Gunnar Roller said, Tony is a certified legend, well entitled to his opinion. He's always been salty. Once had a dig at Wenger not being a good coach. Fans are also entitled to bring up his coaching CV of failure. They are. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. It's football, people. It's football. Paul MC, Rice tore into Partey for getting a yellow at the Bernabeu to put him out of the PSG game. Odegaard would never do that. I've seen so many things from Rice where I'm like, he should be our captain. The leadership. I've seen times they're in the circle before the game. Rice is giving the team talk. Like you said, the way he had a go at Partey, he knew Partey had let us down. The goals he scored against Real Madrid, to me, that's part of leadership as well. Scoring those goals was part of leadership. The fact that Odegaard was telling him to cross the ball and he said, no, I'm going to shoot. That is leadership. I see so much in Declan Rice. I'm like, that's the guy I want to lead this team. Bravery, willing to ignore a coach, moments of absolute brilliance. Those 2 free kicks were the best moments of the whole season. That second free kick's one of the best free kicks I've seen at Arsenal, to be honest, ever. I'm talking genuinely ever. Santi Cazorla FA Cup final because of what it meant. Thierry Henry, where he looks at the camera and says, is that enough? Declan Rice, top corner. 3 of the best free kicks I've ever seen for Arsenal because of what they meant at that time and that moment. Unbelievable. One of the best free kicks you'll ever see. I see nothing but leadership in that guy. Martin Odegaard, what makes him a leader? He seems very mature. He seems a bit like Arteta on the pitch. He's that PR guy, well behaved, not going to cause any problems. Is he going to win you something? Is he going to lead that team over the finish line? Is he going to dig people out when they're struggling? I don't know. I see 2 types of captains. The one that's like Adams, that's like Vieira, that will be very vocal. And then you've got the one we've had like a Fabregas or Henry, where they're not the most vocal, but they'll lead through their quality. At the moment, Odegaard's not leading through his quality. He's not winning us enough games and performing, and he's not the most vocal. And he gets substituted nearly every game. So there's a lot of things about Odegaard that I would say don't make him the captain. This isn't me saying he's a bad player. This isn't me saying sell him. This is me saying I think he's... I actually don't think he is the right representation of what you would want a captain to be. And he might actually improve without the armband. But we'll see. Listen, it's all pretty irrelevant because the reality is this manager ain't taking the armband off Martin Odegaard. He loves him. 12th man, Big C wants the window closes and we're left with the players we have. What's a reasonable amount of time we should give Arteta to teach his tactics to the team and implement them? It needs to happen within a few weeks. I'm sorry. Like, let's be real. Our starting 11 will have at the most 3 new players in it from last season. Zubimendi, Gyökeres, and if we get a new left winger, 3 new players. That means 8 of the other starting 11 are players that have been here previously. Why should he need months to figure that out? Why should he need months to figure that out? 3 new players. I saw Haaland banging goals in from week 1 to Manchester City. I'm sorry, there's no time. You've had 5 years, bro. 5, 6 years. I need to see that working at Old Trafford this Sunday, to be honest. You ain't even got Old Trafford to warm up. You lose at Old Trafford Sunday, I'm already asking questions. Liverpool should be working right now. Simple as that. It's not like he's made 7 changes to the starting 11. Then I'll be like, you made 2 at the moment. Needs to work straight away. Red Squid said, come on, see, you've been watching football a long time. Martin Odegaard is a big player. If you strip him, you sell him. Too many people playing football. I disagree. And again, football's opinions. I'm not saying you're wrong. We've seen players. Okay, let me tell you this. I was at the game. Crystal Palace at home. Xhaka throws the armband on the floor. Tells the fans to F off. Arteta takes the armband off him. It's over. Everybody came out of that stadium, said it's over. Granit Xhaka will never play for this club again. You disrespected the club, the badge, the armband. You told fans to F off. You're done. You're finished. You're finished. There's no way you recover from that. We had a move lined up to sell him in January. He was gone. Arteta said, I like him. I'm going to keep him. I'm going to stick by him. Had his best season the year after. No one spoke about it. Had his best season the year after. So I don't buy into this fact that if you take an armband off somebody, there's no way back. There is. There is a way back. And in fact, Granit Xhaka looked like he was better without the armband because he was a bit of a hothead, and him having a hothead leader is not what you want. A guy getting sent off and things like that. So maybe without the armband, you saw a more mature, calmer Granit Xhaka. Or was it 2 years after? Anyway. Might have even been 3 years after. I could be way off. But anyway, you know what I mean. A year or 2 after. I think that was Emery, wasn't it? I think that was Emery season. And the Arteta first 6 months. It might have been like 2 years after. I could be wrong. Forgive me. But you know what I'm saying? I think we saw a better Xhaka post-armband. And then he had his best season in that last season. Alex says, Curtis, I found myself in the awkward position not realising I was singing the R. Kelly while sat in traffic. Am I turning the volume down or do I maintain eye contact? I mean, I need context. Like, is the window open? Can they hear you? You know, if they can hear you, I think you've just got to go with it anyway. You're too far in now. You know what I mean? I'm that star up in the sky. They've made eye contact. You've just got to run with it. Yeah, you got to run with it. It's very difficult. You know, I've been in the situation before. You don't know, man. I actually thought R. Kelly was by far one of the R&B goats, but then he's chaining people up in the dungeon. I don't know where you go from there, you know. I'm the world's greatest sounded a little bit different after you heard that the girls were chained up in the dungeon. I don't know. I don't know. Good question, actually. Let's put it out there. We are a shameless community here, so these shameless questions, they can go into this community and will be accepted. Do you still listen to R. Kelly? If R. Kelly comes on the radio, are you switching it off or are you turning it up? That's what I want to know. Is Kells still in the playlist? Man said R. Kelly flew so Diddy could slide. I'm telling you, man, it's all mad. Kells, you know what I mean? What's going on? Are you turning that up or are you locking it off? I need to know, people. I need to know. Some of them classic, yo, and you know the thing? R. Kelly had classics, like real classics. Nah, it was all mad. He had real classics. I'm not throwing it on myself. I won't skip it. I hear you. New poll. What are you saying? We do a new poll. DJ was blasting R. Kelly at the barbecue I was at this weekend. Was you dancing? Was you singing? You're at that barbecue or you're on that night out. My mind's telling me no. Are you singing like, or are you just pretending you can't hear it? But my body's telling me yeah. The fact he said I don't want to hurt nobody after that, but there was a woman chained up downstairs. I don't see nothing wrong. You know what? It might depend if you had drinks and stuff. You had a couple of drinks, you might just run with it shamelessly. I was pretending I can't hear it. It's yo, it's a mad one still. They're real classics, you know. They're real I wish I could play music on YouTube now. I feel like I'd put the music on just for banter. Hey, I just want to know what people are thinking. You're at the barbecue. It's a sunny day, couple drinks, good vibes, chicken's cooking. It comes on. I don't know what you're doing. Do you go inside and stop it, or do you just do you dance slowly? I don't know. I don't know where you go with it. It's serious. They're big tunes. Great question, though, Alex. I love them questions. This is why we're still a shameless community. Big up yourself. 100k don't change us, people. We'll still be shameless. LZA, Odegaard is a cat. Hides way too often in big games when we need him most. I told you, man, that guy was playing hide and seek. Trick or treating. He turned into a ghost after that ankle injury. Couldn't find him. Nah, big up Alex, man. I like them kind of questions. We're not just a football community, you know. Brian said, not going to lie, I don't go out my way to listen to R. Kelly. If it comes on, I'm not going to turn it off. Bro, I'll turn it off Ignition Remix if it comes on. You know them tunes there are just like the sing-along ones, you know. But it's do you know what it is at the same time? Like, you can't ignore what he is. Do you know what I'm saying? Because he done a madness. You know what I'm saying? He done a madness. It's like Michael Jackson. The accusations were wild, but he was never found guilty, even though they say he paid people off. So when Rock With You was on the radio, I was still turning it up. Girl, close your eyes. I was still going. I said, listen, man, he weren't found guilty. Kelsey's locked up, you know, so I don't know. It's a little bit. And Fitz said, I have a daughter. R. Kelly is dead to him. Jeez. That's what I like about Fitz, you know. Shoot straight from the hip, no messing about. Anyway, from R. Kelly to Eze. I don't know how you sort of transfer that. This is why I love this community so much, because how can we be going from R. Kelly, remix to Ignition, to Eberici Eze, who's supposed to be signing for us? But ain't it funny that we've hyped Eze up for 6 weeks and he's going to end up at Tottenham? And then all the fans that have been doing backflips for him are going to say, well, we didn't want him anyway. That's what's going to happen. I've said on this channel multiple times, if I was the manager, if you guys were the manager, bring me Eze today. because Eze is going straight into that Odegaard battle to play in the 10 role. But I always said with this manager signing Eze, I'm not even sure it drastically improves us. I'm sorry. I've said it multiple times on this channel. I've watched Eze loads of times. He is not a left winger. You can play him on the left, but why are you spending 68 million on someone to play him in a role that you're not going to get the best out of him? Eze is not the left wing solution. He's just not. He's a good player. He's a fantastic player. You put him in the 10, he's a baller. Man said H to the Izzo, E to the Eze. That is. I love comments like that. I just love comments like that. Anyway, we're going from R. Kelly discussion, which I'm not even sure we should be talking about it, but then we should. We are that community. We discuss things other than football. It's real life. If R. Kelly comes on the radio, do you turn it off in disgust, or do you turn it up and just run with it? I don't know. That's the question. The poll is there, though, more importantly. Who should be the Arsenal captain? Declan Rice, Martin Odegaard, or Gabriel Magalhaes? For me, I'm agreeing with Big Tone. Give Deckers that armband. I've seen enough leadership in the last 2 years to see that that is what I want an Arsenal captain to carry himself like. Huge moments against Real Madrid, leadership. The coach is telling you to cross it. You ignore him. You put it in the top corner. Odegaard was being teacher's pet. I'll cross it to the back post. Now bun that. I'll put it top bins. Partey gets booked. He's calling him out, shouting at him. Real leadership. You ever seen Odegaard go mad at someone when they're not doing their job? And when have you ever seen a captain get dragged off in so many big games? Nah, man. I think you're doing Odegaard a favour taking the armband off him. I don't think he wants that kind of responsibility. I think it was just given to him. Anyway, let's talk about Eberechi Eze, who we thought was going to be Arsenal's big signing post Victor Gyökeres. It looks like it could be Tottenham's big signing post Mohamed Kudus. Fabrizio, Tottenham are prepared to open formal talks with Crystal Palace for Eberechi Eze. The plan to return to the table was reported 2 days ago. 100% confirmed. Also confirmed that Eze would be keen on a move to Tottenham if the two clubs can agree. Now, I spoke about this the other day with Cecil on the show that we do. And he was sort of saying to me, why do you think he didn't think Eze would go to Tottenham? I said, bro, take off your Arsenal hat and see it from his point of view. He would go to Tottenham if they offered him. And this is what's going to happen. Tottenham are going to say, I read that Eze's on 100 grand a week. So he's going to get a significant pay rise, big signing on fee. He stays in London and he plays in the Champions League. Also the fact Maddison's out for 8 months. So Eze, you go straight into that 10 role. It's a World Cup year. It's a no-brainer. Now, don't get me wrong, if Arsenal are at the door as well and we made the offer and we say, come to Arsenal, maybe we're going to play you on the left, but you can also compete with Odegaard. He's a boyhood Arsenal fan. He was released by Arsenal. Maybe his heart rules his head and he comes to Arsenal. But we're not even at the table. And it just shows people. It just shows that these journalists have got fans on strings because they've peddled out Eze to Arsenal for 2 months. And then I'll show you the next article. They're basically saying we're not even that much in for him. Romano always giving doom and gloom news to Arsenal. The exact news he broke about Madueke. I think Spurs will get him. AB said, Curtis, your analysis of Odegaard as a captain is wrong. I know you want to see Arsenal sign Eze. Deep down, you know Leao or Lookman will be a better signing. I do know that Leao or Eze is... Leao, definitely. Lookman, maybe. We need the left winger. But you explain to me why you think my analysis of Odegaard as captain is wrong. I'm prepared to listen, bro. Give me your explanation. I don't see leadership in him. I don't see a guy that wins us big games. I don't see a guy that has huge individual moments. I don't see a guy that digs people out. I see a guy that gets dragged off in big moments when your captain should be the one getting you over the line. So I'm all ears, bro. I'll listen. He would prefer Spurs because of playing time. Curtis always said he prefers a left winger. Yep, you've heard me. I've said it multiple times. Give me Leao, give me Rodrigo. It ain't easy. It ain't Eze. I want to know, what I'm basically asking is, how are you guys going to feel if Eze goes to Tottenham? Seeing Eze hold up a Tottenham shirt, how's that going to make you feel? Are you disappointed that Arsenal haven't got this deal done? Bearing in mind the story around him, the quality, the release clause, are you let down? Are you disappointed? Are you hurt seeing him hold up a Tottenham shirt? Or are you of the opinion that he wasn't the right player for us anyway? I'm kind of like this, and this sounds very contradictory, what I'm about to say. I thought under Arteta, he wasn't necessarily the right signing because he won't play him in the Odegaard role. He'll stick him on the left. However, considering we've apparently chased this guy for 2 months, he had a release clause, he's an Arsenal fan, I think it's a bit of a joke that they never got the deal done. And all those people at the beginning of the window, when I was having meltdowns about Madueke, when people were saying, it doesn't matter what order you sign the players in. Actually, it does matter what order you sign the players in, because sometimes you sign a player that financially puts you in a position that you can't sign another player further down the line. Arsenal's number one priority in this window should have been wrap up Zubimendi, get Gyökeres, and get the left winger. Then they should have dealt with everything else around it. Your Maduekes, your Kepas, they could have been the last signings. We would have been fine. None of those guys were expected to start the first game of the season. So it does matter. It really does matter. Because the guys that you think are going to be in your starting 11 opening day of the season, you want those guys in early to give them time to settle. Would it matter if we sign Norgard at the end of the transfer window? Not really. Would it matter if we sign Madueke on deadline day? Mosquera on deadline day, Kepa on deadline day? Not really, because those guys wouldn't be starting games at the moment while everyone's fit anyway. So it's very interesting. My thing is this: if Eze goes to Tottenham, which I'm already psychologically telling myself is going to happen, so get yourself prepared that Eze ends up in a Tottenham shirt. My question is then, well, what are we doing then? Indicali has put out a bomber today saying that Arsenal don't want to buy Eze yet because they're waiting to see if they can get Rodrigo and that's their top choice. Now, I understand that, if that's true. If Arsenal are genuinely sitting there going, listen, we've got like 70, 75 million left. We can only buy one player. Rodrigo's the player we really want, but we've got to wait and see if he goes at the end of the window. So what we don't want to do is buy Eze for 60 odd million, and then if Rodrigo comes up, we can't buy him. If that's what they're doing, I have some understanding for it. However, I just don't believe it. I don't believe it. Because why have we waited so long to make a move for Rodrigo? Why are Man City now trying to get Rodrigo? And if Man City are trying to get Rodrigo, would we even win that battle with Man City? If it's between Man City and Arsenal, is Rodrigo going to them or us? I wouldn't be confident of winning that battle. So it feels too dangerous. You're going to let Eze go to Tottenham thinking that you're going to go for Rodrigo. There's no guarantee, one, that Rodrigo leaves, and two, there's no guarantee he picks Arsenal ahead of Man City. So what if you leave Eze, go for Rodrigo, don't get Rodrigo? Now, what direction are you going in now? So I just don't understand it. And if you're telling me that Arsenal are sitting there on the money, what are they waiting for? Like, I don't get it. If there's truth in that, I don't understand it. It could be true. I don't get it. I think the real truth is this, people. What we've read in other articles. I think Arsenal now are in a situation they've got to sell to buy. We've spent 200 million and made 6 million pounds. I think the club are now saying to Arteta, look, 200 million is a lot of money to spend when you've only brought 6 million pounds in. You've got to get 40, 50, 60 million in the kitty. Once you've done that, you can go again late in the window and make another signing. You look at Liverpool, they've spent 270 million. It could be 400 with Isak, but they've made nearly 200 million in player sales. Chelsea are at 200 million as well. You'll see Manchester United over the next few weeks. Garnacho, these guys, they're going to try and sell. They're going to try and sell. It's believable to to think Arsenal had 200 million to spend. The rest needs to come from sales. Leonard said, Curtis, as a Man United fan, I have so much respect for you. Your ball knowledge transcends the team you support. I wish you were a Man U supporter. We need more people like you. I mean, yeah, I'll take the compliment. I had a lot of rivalry with Man United growing up. A lot of my friends are Man United fans, so they were very much my ops growing up. So I certainly would never have supported Man United, but I appreciate the comment and looking forward to going to battle with you guys on Sunday. I mean, if we lose, Arsenal therapy already would be nuts. If we win, then we'll be optimistic. A draw, not a great result in my opinion. Arteta won't take the armband off Odegaard. Every on-pitch issue comes right back to Arteta. Hout attitude reflects leadership. Big OGN. Casual gamer. Forget a new left winger. Get me Davis from Bayern. Bun left wing back. The thing with Davis, he did his ACL. He isn't even back yet, is he? He's only just started training. So you're not going to spend big money on Davis when he's recovering from an ACL injury. Who knows? He might not be the same player. You've at least got to see him come back and play and see what level he's at first. Was very good. I think Nuno Mendes has overtaken him as that left back now that everyone sort of looks at. Read the Indicalia update story. That story makes sense. It does, but it's one of them stories, man, where, you know, I remember Arsenal back in the day. Oh, we're not going to sign Higuain because we're turning our attention to Luis Suarez. Okay, yeah, I can get on board with that. Luis Suarez, 40 million and a pound. What are they smoking at Arsenal? You're like, eh? And before you know it, we're signing Olivier Giroud from Montpellier. Or we're signing Lucas Perez. And you're going, but you told me you was getting Luis Suarez. And now I've got Olivier Giroud and Lucas Perez. Or Danny Welbeck. And that's the PTSD with Arsenal, I'm afraid. You know, we'll probably turn down Eze to get Rodrigo and end up with Jadon Sancho. You know, that's kind of the way Arsenal have operated over the years. And listen, maybe I'm being, you know, a bit overly pessimistic, but I've seen this story before. Arsenal turning down a good player to try and get a great player and end up with an average player. It's been the Arsenal way over the years. Jadon Sancho, welcome to Arsenal. You know what I mean? On deadline day, 12-month loan. You could see something crazy like that happening, but hopefully not. Right, you guys are asking about FPL. I want all of you in the league if you're getting involved. So I'm going to pin it again. I forgot to put it in the description. There's a lot of you in there already, which is great. I'm going to pin it in the comments. The link is there. The code is there. Set up your team. Get involved. You don't want to miss that first game week because you're playing catch up. It starts tomorrow with Liverpool playing tomorrow night. I think it closes 2 hours before kickoff. So you need to get your team in by 5 o'clock tomorrow evening, but just get it in as quick as possible. Prize for the winner. Get involved. Going to be a good bit of fun, and I'm going for it this season as well. I'm actually, you know what I mean, I'm going to try and get my Pep Guardiola business on. XX rated. Curtis, would you still want Ivan Toney, or has that ship sailed? I mean, listen, if you could get Ivan Toney on loan or something, I'd still take him as, imagine having Ivan Toney and Gyökeres as your front two. But he's sitting on racks. I know a few people who know Ivan Toney, and apparently he's living good over there, man. So I don't think he's in a rush to come back to England. He's living a good life, man. And fair play, you know, he's another player that had to go, you know, through the lower leagues of football. And, you know, to be sitting on 300 grand a week tax-free is amazing. Scouse Mike, for me, Big C, it's would you prefer Eze or Madueke? I'd take Eze. So, yeah. But this is what Arsenal do. They don't get what you want, and then they give you less, and then you end up accepting it. So all of a sudden, Madueke, we talk about him like it's a good signing all of a sudden. Madueke is a right winger. We're expecting him to be a title-winning left winger for Arsenal. It's just not going to happen. But for now, who you got up front? Well, I mean, I don't like to reveal my team because I want an element of surprise. So I don't really want. Although, can you see my team actually? You can actually see other people's team anyway, I think, can't you? So, um, you know, I want to surprise a few of you. If you all know, I'll be honest. I'll say one thing. I haven't put Gyökeres in the team yet. I didn't put him in just yet. So I'm trying to. Last year I went off emotion. I put loads of Arsenal players in there, and then we didn't score as many goals, and it kind of flopped me. So this year I said, look, I'm gonna be honest, right? I'm gonna do it with my brain rather than my heart. I looked at it. I thought game week 1, Old Trafford away. You never know. He might do well there, but I haven't put Gyökeres in yet. I will get him in for Leeds, I think. I put Havertz in. Wow, that is wild. If Havertz starts over Gyökeres this Sunday, it might be Arsenal therapy before the game kicks off. There are people still saying, "Listen, man, I think Havertz going to start." I said, "Nah, he can't start. He just can't." Big up to everyone locked in, man. 3,250. Amazing, amazing support on the channel. Peter said, it's funny how we celebrated Forest jailing Gibbs White just to watch Eze go to top Spurs. The thing is that the Eze thing is an Arsenal problem. It's not like Tottenham have snatched him from us. We're just not reacting. We're not doing anything. We're just sitting there watching it happen. We were never going to sign Eze, said T. Dot. He puts Odegaard on the bench. Other teams get rid of poor players. Quickly look at Chelsea. Snake Eyes, mark my words, Arsenal ain't buying another player. Do you think Jesus can cover on the left? We're going to be left short again like in the last 15 years. Big up Snake Eyes. Jesus put a picture up yesterday with his boots on. Apparently it's his first time he's trained with a ball. How far he is, apparently he's still a few months away. But Havertz on 275k per week, bench player. Yeah, you would think he would try and squeeze him in somewhere, which is disappointing. Fitz, never thought I'd see another Havertz situation. Then Arteta buys Noni. We have got to get rid of Arteta before he sets us back any further. I have to admit, this obsession with Chelsea squad players is just a joke. It really is. 5-year deals, big wages. Bob said if Jesus returns early, can he play on the left? I mean, he's okay, but I think Jesus will be moved on. Casual Gamer said, I meant get a Davies style of left back. I hear you. An out and out, bomb up and down. I thought, who was I going to say, man? Grimaldo. I thought he'd had a very good season at Leverkusen at wing back. Kirkez is similar to that at Liverpool. I know Theo Hernandez just went to Saudi as well. You haven't won at Old Trafford for 18 years. How have we not won at Old Trafford? Didn't we beat you there when Aubameyang scored? That was not 18 years ago, bro. We definitely have beat you at Old Trafford in the last 18 years. I remember Oba scoring. I'm sure it was when we was in the... what kit was it? Was it the white kit? We definitely beat you at Old Trafford, bro. We've 100% beat you at Old Trafford. Am I going mad here, people? Didn't we beat them 1-0? When Thomas Partey absolutely dominated the midfield. We've beat Man United, bro. We won in 2024. Trossard, yeah, man, come on, man. Let me get the stats up. Man's telling me we haven't beat United at Old Trafford for 18 years. I can remember multiple wins. Danny Welbeck scoring. Man United v Arsenal. We definitely beat them at Old Trafford. Yeah, man, look, there's a couple wins there. There's a few wins there, man. Nah, man's going mad. We beat him a few times. Chill, bro. Thanks for the super chat, though. 2-0. I hope we smoke them on Sunday, you know. Real talk. Real talk. Partey and El Neni. Yeah, El Neni did all the running. Partey just bossed it. Right, let's move on. Let's move on. The second part of the Eze story, by the way, is Ben Jacobs saying that a late Arsenal move for Eze cannot be discounted. However, the desire to give Ethan Nwaneri minutes at 10 this season has led to hesitation. They could look to bring in a left winger instead if Trossard or Martinelli departs. This story originally came from David Ornstein yesterday. And this, for me, is where these journalists lose a lot of credibility with me, because they've spent the last month to 2 months telling us Arsenal want Eze. Arteta loves Eze. The versatility, he can play on the left, he can play in the 10, he can play in the left 8. There's so many stories if you go through. Arsenal want Eze, Arteta loves Eze. Then they come out with a story, Ornstein, saying when they were negotiating Nwaneri's contract, they weren't sure whether he was going to stay, so they made a move for Eze. Then Nwaneri signed the new contract, and Eze became less of a priority. And they now want an out-and-out left winger. But you've still been telling us for the last month that we want Eze, even though Nwaneri had already agreed a new contract. I know it was only announced about a week ago, but we knew about a month ago that Nwaneri had agreed a new deal. So they just tagged the fan base along. They probably haven't even got a clue what's going on. Because let's be real then, if it isn't Eze, who's the left winger? Who's the left winger? Fabrizio said yesterday that we're not in for Rafa Leao. He said Leao's staying at AC Milan. They've sold enough players and they don't need to sell him now. He said at the start of the window there was a feeling that Leao could be sold for the right price. He's saying now they've just sold that centre-back Malik Thor, is it, to Newcastle, and they sold Reinders to Man City. They sold Theo Hernandez to Saudi. They've made money. They don't need to sell Leao. So who's the left winger? And you're right, people. It's Noni. It's Noni. It was always Noni. It was always Noni. Oh, they've signed Noni as squad depth for Saka. No, they've signed him to play left wing. They've signed him to play left wing. And I've already accepted it. I've already accepted it. Oh, yeah, my bad. Put your titles on the table. Here we go. MJ, make sure you're here Sunday. What time will that game finish? 6:15? I think it's 4:30 kickoff. In fact, just make sure you're here for the whole watch along. Donkey starts on the left wing. Can you imagine? Madueke is the left winger. Come to terms with it. I already am, bro. Zaha on loan from MLS. Run it back. I would have rather took Rashford than Madueke, bro. Real talk. Real talk. Anyway, let's move on. Let's move on. Couple stories left, then we'll round up. We've been live for an hour and 9. Great show. Great discussion, as always. I mean, we if you've joined late, feel free to rewind afterwards. We reviewed the whole Tony Adams interview. We watched it, reviewed it. Let's talk about this guy. Alexander Zinchenko. And I'm going to say, by the way, again, on the tours, this guy's all right. I'll be honest. He's quite good in the sense that, like, he'll stop, he'll have a chat, he'll say something. So from a personal point of view, there's no personal issue. Actually, he's one of the better players to talk to on the tours. He will give up a bit of time. He will speak to you, blah, blah, blah. However, he put out an interview, and these are some of his quotes. He said, on last season, it was easily the worst season I ever experienced as a professional. The sense of rejection you feel if your manager no longer believes in you, it can take the stuffing out of you, even if you're the most resilient guy on the planet. Fair enough, but let's scroll up, right? Because he said a lot. He said a lot in this interview, right? Let's go all the way to the top. Apollo. He said a hell of a lot. Right, let's start here. He said, I can only blame myself if I don't play. It means that I didn't work hard enough, didn't do enough, didn't play well enough. Fine, I like that. You're taking accountability. He said, at Arsenal, we don't have many egos, which bothers me because I actually think you do need egos sometimes to be successful. However, he said, everyone understands their role, their duties and responsibilities. I'm not the guy that comes in, shows a bad face and spreads bad vibes. I try to still lighten the mood with a few jokes and make people smile. He said, I tried my very best to stay positive inside. Let's keep going, guys. I'm quite grateful that my girls are not yet at an age where they're exposed to social media and don't have to read nasty stuff about their dad. who can't get into the Arsenal team anymore. I mean, I get it. As a parent, social media can be a bit vile, but let's continue. Zinchenko recalls when Vlada, I'm assuming that's his wife, took their 2 daughters to the Emirates for a game. Eva, the older one, at 3.5, says to Leah, "Look, there's Daddy." Leah looks all over the pitch but can't find me. And then Ava points and says, "No, he's not playing. He's on the bench." Hearing that pained me a lot. It made me feel ashamed. I'm just taking a moment because he's mentioning things that I'm not going to be disrespectful about, by the way. I'm not. Your kids, your wife, cool. No disrespect. I understand all of that. However, I just want to say, my friend, there's people out here with real problems. I'm talking real problems. Who have to work really hard to make ends meet. There's people, you walk through your city centre now, there's people going in food banks. There's homeless people all over the place. People are struggling. There's a housing crisis. People can't get houses. People are unemployed. The unemployment rate's through the roof. Yeah, people are having to survive out here right now. Let's be real. Let's be real. It's hard. People working 10, 12 hours a day to make ends meet. You're sitting on 150 bags a week, fam. Some people ain't making 150 in 2-3 years, bro. You're making it every Friday to play for Arsenal Football Club. Things aren't that hard, bro. I can understand you probably didn't feel good. Your daughter saying, "Where are you? You're not on the pitch. You sat down." You felt a bit bad. Cool, I hear that, bro. But that ain't a real problem. That's a rich people problem. You still drove home in the Lambo. The gates still opened on the mansion. You still put your feet on the marble floor and sat in the indoor swimming pool that night while your chef cooked you the finest steak for dinner that night. You didn't get an Uber. You didn't get a double cheeseburger. You didn't walk in and have to clean the dishes that you'd left soaking from the night before. You didn't have those kind of problems, bro. You got dropped out of the Arsenal team by an 18-year-old centre midfielder in Miles Lewis-Skelly that was performing at a higher level than you. That's just facts, bro. That's just reality. We can all see that Lewis-Skelly's performance level was higher than Zinchenko, which is why you got dropped. You went from 30 bags a week to 150 a week at Arsenal. You know what, bro? If it's that bad here, when AC Milan came to sign you, when Theo Hernandez left, and you didn't go to AC Milan because they couldn't pay your wages, why didn't you take a pay cut? You said it's the worst season of your life. You didn't play. Worst season of your life, bro. You felt ashamed, embarrassed. Your kids couldn't watch you play. AC Milan came to sign him about a month ago. When Theo Hernandez left, they said, "We can't pay him 150. If you're that unhappy, if you're that miserable at Arsenal, why didn't you say to AC Milan, "I will sign for you, I will take a pay cut"? Sell his clock. Sell him. We ain't got time for this. We ain't got time for this. Should have kept Tierney. Should have kept Tierney. Tierney was getting loaned out, injuries, everything. You never heard that guy complain. Never heard that guy complain, bro. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Get your head down and work. Get your place back. Get Lewis-Skelly out the team. Go to Arteta, say, "Yo, brother, I want to play centre midfield. Yeah, I play centre mid for Ukraine. No longer do I want to be a left back. Talk to me in midfield. I'll fight for the centre mid place." You're putting out. What does this interview do for anybody? What does it do? The fan base aren't going to support you after this. They're going to go, "Come on, man, sort off you, brother. You're a multi-millionaire playing at the top level. Get on with it. Get on with it, bro." I'm sorry, I don't like this. And like I say, Zinchenko's all right on the tour. On his absence from the team affecting his wife, Vlada, she doesn't want to show she's affected for fear of upsetting me even more every once in a while. The mask slips. Oh dear, you have not read the room. Imagine this little boy who's dedicated his entire existence to becoming good at one particular thing and then finds at 28 he's essentially no longer needed. There are others who can do the job for him. It's not a nice feeling. Lock off that clock. Lock that off. We're done. We're done. We're done. We're done. Lock that off. Wow. Me, you know, bro. Me. That's all I heard in that whole interview. Me. Oh, poor me. Imagine dedicating your life to football and then finding you're on the bench. Get on with it, man. Sell this guy now. Sell him. If I'm his teammate, I'm pulling him aside. Brother, what are you doing, man? We're going to war with Liverpool, Man City trying to win the league. All these big players. You're putting out interviews like that. You're making us look weak, bro. You lost your place in the team. That's it. That's all you did, you know. You lost your place. Most of you guys in the chat, you've played football at some level. We all know what it feels like to sit on the bench every now and then. It ain't nice, bro. And I know football isn't all about money. But if you need to play, you should have gone to AC Milan. Take a pay cut, go and play for Milan. But you wouldn't do it, would you? Why? Because when they offered you less than 150, you said, "Oh, actually, I'll take another year at Arsenal on the bench because the money's good." The money's good, right? Nah, man, it's nah. Listen, the personal side of it, I have no problem with that. You know, I get that. Your footballing life can spill over into your family, your wife, your kids. They'll feel the effects of you not being happy from playing. I totally understand that. I have no problem with that. Number one, though, you don't need to put that out there publicly. It's not going to get him in the Arsenal team. Arteta's not reading that interview saying, "Tell you what, man, I feel gutted for him. I'm going to start him at Old Trafford because it's affecting his family." He still ain't going to play, right? And if you was that desperate to leave, you should have gone to AC Milan. So now the fans are going to sit there and go, well, why are you still here then if it's that terrible? Why not get your head down and fight and get back in the team or change position, go into midfield? Show some fight. The personal element of it, I have no problem with. But I don't think, number one, you need to put that in the public. And number two, it just turned into a pity party. There was no fight. There was no this, that, the other. It was just, oh, everybody feels sorry for me. No, I'm sorry. No, I don't. And I've seen him on tour. And if he's there next year, I'll say to him, bro, that interview ain't going to help anybody. I'm sorry. It's just not. I think sometimes footballers in the Premier League and at the top level, they're disconnected from the real world sometimes, you know, and they live in this bubble of you are the main thing within your world and you don't see other things sometimes, you know. Yeah, Grealish just took a pay cut to go to Everton, apparently. They couldn't pay the full wage. Anyway, let's move on. Toby said, congrats on the 100k, Big C. Love the streams. I'm a Leeds fan. Looking forward to the game next week. Dirty Leeds. Now, Leeds just signed Calvert-Lewin. I think that's a decent signing for them if they can keep him fit. Casual gamer, 4-2-3-1. Gyökeres, Havertz, 10. Run back the Bergkamp days. But then where do you play Odegaard? Where do you play Zubimendi and Rice? Is he going to drop Odegaard for Havertz? I don't know if he would. If you play two attacking mids, you can't really drop Zubimendi or Rice. It's tough. I don't know how you would do that. Zinni says all this but does not want to leave. And that's my problem, you know. If Zinni said all that and he was leaving, I'd go, okay, well, at least you're backing up what you're saying. You've said you're not happy. You've said it's not about money. You need to play. You've took the AC Milan move. It goes together. It makes sense. When you've said all that but rejected a move to a massive football club, how can I take what you're saying seriously, bro? There's stories out there saying Zinchenko will see out the last year of his contract because he don't want to take a pay cut. I don't know. Listen, are we Look, Salman's saying he might be depressed. Maybe he is. I don't know. And if he is, listen, then that's a different angle. I'm just going purely off the interview. You're saying you're desperate to play football. You got an opportunity to play football, but you've refused it because of money. Well, that tells me that the money sounds like it's more important to you than playing football. That's all I can take from it. If you're that unhappy at Arsenal, surely you move on, take a pay cut, find your happiness again. You're already a rich man. You could go and play for a massive club like AC Milan, start, find your happiness, and rebuild your career. We know that over this next year, he's not going to get back in the Arsenal team consistently. So the unhappiness you've just experienced from the previous year, you're going to experience that for another year because you're not playing over Lewis Skelly. You're not playing over Calafiori. You're not going to play in midfield. So you're actually putting yourself in the situation that you're complaining about. I don't know. What do you guys think? Am I being harsh on him? Am I being harsh on him here? I don't think he needed to put that interview out publicly. And also, there was a solution to the problem. Go to AC Milan. You said you've had the worst season of your life, super unhappy. So why not take yourself out of that situation when you had the option of doing that? It feels to me like you refuse to leave Arsenal because you know you're not going to get that wages elsewhere. So as unhappy as you are, you're putting the money over your so-called happiness and your football career. So I don't get somebody complaining about something that they can fix. It's like saying you got no money and someone going, there you go, there's the money. And you say, no, I don't want it. I don't get it. I don't get it. I think he could have gone AC Milan and even played centre mid. I've always said I think he'll be a good centre mid. Scouse Mike said I have to work 250 hours a month to keep up with the bills for family mortgage and work towards Christmas each year and holiday. Man's on 150k crying because he isn't on the pitch. I don't know. Zinni is being mocked hard for that interview here in Ukraine. I mean, listen, his country's been at war. Do you know what I mean? Been attacked. I would think if you was in Ukraine now and you've experienced that, and he's complaining about his lifestyle, I think people would be a little bit. I think you'd feel a little bit disrespected by what he's saying. You know, I really do. But anyway, man, let's big up my bro name, man. I hope you're well. It's like going to the doctor saying you're poorly, not taking the medicine. Like, bro, like the solution's there and you've ignored it. So what do you want? My question to Zinchenko would be, what do you want to solve this problem? Your ideal solution is to play for Arsenal. Then you get your happiness back. You understand football. You're a pro at the top level. You've lost your place. Lewis Skelly's the first choice. Calafiori's the second choice. Timber might even play left back over you. So you might be the fourth choice Arsenal left back. So reality is your Arsenal career is up. So you find a solution. It's football. We've all done it. We've all been at clubs. You love it at the club. You settled. You get along with the players. The manager ain't playing you. You've got a decision to make. You try and fight for your place. If that doesn't happen, eventually you're fighting a losing battle. Then you need to move on. That's how I see it. Listen, if there's a deeper motive behind what he's saying and he's suffering in some sort of way, then cool, I get that. That's a whole different discussion. But I don't know. No, relax, man. Man said smash or pass Zinni's bird. That's a mad comment, but big up for the super chat. Before we move on, we are going to finish with another Zinchenko story, by the way. We are going to finish with a final Zinchenko story. This is him being linked with a move to Porto. Ben Jacobs and Sam C. Porto are showing strong interest in Arsenal defender Alexander Zinchenko, who's open to leaving the club this summer. It's funny how they said that. Which is what I was saying, bro. If you're unhappy, you can get a move. You're probably rated enough that a couple decent clubs will take you. It's whether you're willing to take the pay cut. These clubs can't pay 150 grand a week. So you're going to have to reduce your wages if you want to move. It's as simple as that. Otherwise, it's probably going to be a loan move. Take Vieira with him. Well, they had Vieira on loan and didn't want to sign him. So that tells you a lot about Fabio Vieira. They sold him to us, took him back on loan, and then didn't sign him back. Crazy. FPL code, by the way, is pinned in the comments. Is it pinned in the comments? I did pin it. It should be there. It is there. It is pinned in the comments. Get involved in the FPL and see if you can win. Porto, listen, you're going to have the same problem at Porto as you had with AC Milan. They cannot pay the wages. They can't pay the wages. So what do? Is he willing to take a pay cut? Do you loan him in the last year of his deal with no transfer fee at the end of it? I don't know how you get around it if he's not prepared to take a pay cut. This is the problem. 150 grand a week is going to be a struggle for him. So do you just keep him as a squad player? Or do you loan him out to get his wages off the book? I think we will struggle to sell Zinchenko. Dan said, when will you announce the G-Wagon giveaway? Do you know what was crazy? When I got my account back, this guy was messaging people pretending to be me. It's dangerous, man. I've had to step my game up with online security, you know. I've had to step my game up, man, because that was a wake-up call, man. The guy hacked my Instagram and was messaging people. When I got my account back, this guy had about 20 conversations with people pretending to be me, and they thought it was me. That was what was even crazier. Two-factor authentication, bro. I've been all over that since. I've actually got a verified on Insta now as well to get the extra security and stuff. So yeah, man. I've had to, everything, even this channel, I had to secure it because I'm thinking, right, man can do that. I need to be careful. So, yeah, man. Caesar says, shout out, Big C. I'm a United fan, but I enjoy your content. Love from the 702. Big up Vegas, man. I need to come to Vegas, you know. I was hoping Arsenal would go on tour to Vegas and Miami when they were over in America, but we'll see. We will see. People, I am out of here. Big up to you. I'll be back tomorrow. Daytime show on here. Liverpool watch along tomorrow night against Bournemouth. And then, listen, busy weekend. We'll have stuff out on Saturday. We'll have the Arsenal watch along Sunday and so on and so forth. We're going to have a prediction video out as well, predicting the Premier League table. I'll let you know where I think Arsenal are going to finish. And we'll do some other stuff. Who's going to be top scorer, blah, blah, blah. And all of that good stuff. So big up, people. Enjoy your Thursday. Hit the like button and subscribe. And I will see you